Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now this one should come to no surprise to anyone. It is a new track by Ghosts of Atlantis. If you didn't see this one coming, you obviously haven't been watching my channel for very long. Now this is the third track, I believe, off the new album, The Riddles of the Sycophants, or Sycophants, however you want to pronounce it. And so far, the first two tracks we've heard have been great. There was Lands of Snow, I think it's called. Yep, Lands of Snow. And then there was the Laocoon King, which was the most recent one that we checked out only a few weeks ago, I think it was. Now, as with the first album, 3624, I do believe this album has an overarching story. The first track we looked at, The Lands of Snow, was talking about the Atlanteans from the first album, sort of setting out into the snowy wilderness to try and find the banished king. You know, trying to find a leader after their home was essentially destroyed. They're looking for this person. And then the Laocoon King was about this king from, I think it was Greek mythology, who fed his son. He killed his son, cooked him, and then fed him to Zeus. And this made Zeus very, very angry, as you would understand. And that made Zeus turn Laocoon into a werewolf, basically. And this resulted in him being fed his own children as a kind of revenge. So, you know, I believe there is an overarching story, but I believe those two songs are separated by quite a distance in the album. I'm sure either Colin or Phil mentioned that Laocoon King was later on in the album. I could be mistaken. But they released a new track just a day or two ago called Sacramental. And that's, of course, what we're going to look at today. Now, I do have lyrics here. They come from directly underneath the video on YouTube, so you know they should, in theory, be accurate. So yeah, let's just jump into this and see what we've got. So, Sacramental by Ghosts of Atlantis. Let's have a look.
This is the ritual, and this is the time. The whispers of eternity now pass through space and time. Now this is the ritual, born out of deepest truth. The whispers of eternity begin and end with you. For this is the ritual, now release the chains of Atlantean kin. No longer held slaves, once bound by their wrists and blinded by a veil. The whispers of the elders no longer just
There we go. Sacramental? Yeah, Sacramental by Ghosts of Atlantis. And as expected, another absolutely epically fucking brilliant piece of music. I just love this band. There is not a single piece of music that I have not enjoyed by them. They are just so fucking good. And I cannot wait to get my hands on this album once it comes out. Because, yeah, I'm going to be playing it a lot. And now I've got an itch in my eye. You can fuck off. Come on. Shit, now I've got something in my eye. Yay, great. This is going well. We will persevere. Anyway. So, as expected, this does have a story to it. Now, whether this is before the Atlanteans escape from the destroyed Atlantis, as it were, or if this is after they've found the banished king that they were looking for, I don't know for sure. Excuse me. But it does tell part of the story here, and it's talking about how they became free, or it seems to be anyway. Excuse me, I've been drinking that soda. What, soda? I've been drinking that soft drink way too quickly. Anyway, as you'd expect by the band, the musicianship was brilliant. The vocal performance was just fantastic, and they have some really good grooves in there that you sort of go, yeah, I like that, really gets in your head, and, good earworms. Now, the actual lyrics to the song, oddly enough, the lyrics that they've got underneath the video, which I'm guessing were put there by the band, right at the very end, are different from the ones that are written down. Only very slightly, though. But they are different. But anyway. It goes, this is the ritual, and this is a time. The whispers of eternity now pass through space and time. Now this is the ritual, born out of deepest truth. The whispers of eternity begin and end with you. For this is the ritual, now release the chains of Atlantean kin, no longer held as slaves, once bound by their wrists and blinded by a veil, the whispers of the elders no longer just a tale. And that bit was sort of whispered at the beginning by Colin, the guitarist who does all the clean vocals. He's got a great clean vocal voice. He's just brilliant. But anyway, so there's a couple of lines in there that sort of hint at the sort of meaning of the stories. For this is the ritual, now release the chains of Atlantean kin, no longer held as slaves. So, like I said, is this before Lands of Snow? Because in Lands of Snow, it's the Atlantean people who have escaped from Atlantis who are seeking out their banished king. Or is this them finding their banished king and him going, look, let these people go, these are my people? I'm not entirely sure, but it's like the Atlanteans are being released from their chains, no longer held as slaves. This kind of makes me think it's after they've escaped and maybe they've run into another sort of tribe or clan of people who have sort of captured the Atlanteans, seeing how, because they're traveling through snow, they're not used to those sort of weather conditions. I think it even said in the song that it was a difficult journey for them because they were unused to it. So maybe this other group has sort of captured them and used them as slaves, and maybe this banished king has sort of come along and gone, excuse me, those are mine, give them back. They're not your slaves anymore, give it to me. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know where any of these tracks line up on the album. For all I know, Lands of Snow could be the first track on the album, and this might come later, this might come before. Who knows? So yeah, it says the whispers of the elders no longer just a tale. Again, this sort of maybe leads me towards maybe this is after them finding their banished king, you know, because maybe the banished king was like a folk tale passed down from the elders as maybe a sort of cautionary tale to the younger generations, possibly. But it says here, you know, whispers of the elders are no longer just a tale. So maybe like this banished king has appeared out of nowhere and said, you know, let my people go. As it would, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, everybody's going, oh, it isn't just a story. Holy shit, this person's actually real. You know, so the old people weren't just leading us on. This is actually a true story. Possibly? Don't know. And it says there, just a tale, no longer just a tale. Psalms of the forefathers bring lessons of deceit buried in their visions that mortals cannot see, invoking the underworld for Hades to appear. Necromantic rituals are now their greatest fear. So, Psalms of the forefathers bring lessons of deceit. So, you know, stories from forefathers, you know, sort of showing, you know, the lies and stuff that, you know, has happened in the past, things to maybe cover up, you know, what this banished king has done. I don't know, you know. It says, invoking the underworld for Hades to appear, necromantic rituals are now their greatest fear. So are they going to try and invoke the undead to come and fight on their behalf? I'm not American. You know, to fight on their behalf, to, you know, take on this tribal group that maybe enslaved them, you know, when they found them wandering in the frozen tundra. Don't know. Pray for the righteous, pray for the gods, pray for their souls to be released. As echoes from another world emerge from the sea, here hope dwells true, a new faith imbued, a reason to believe. So here, pray for the righteous, pray for the gods, pray for their souls to be released as echoes from another world emerge from the sea. Now, the Atlantis, I suppose, could be considered the other world, you know, and, you know, they're talking about necromantic rituals, you know, pray for the righteous, pray for the gods, pray for their souls to be released. These could be the people that lost their lives in Atlantis. You know, maybe they're wanting to bring them back. Maybe that's what the necromantic rituals are for, to bring back the souls of, you know, the people they lost in Atlantis when Atlantis fell. Possibly. Who knows? But echoes from another world emerged from the sea. So obviously Atlantis, you know, disappeared into the sea. It, you know, millions killed, you know, that sort of thing, you know. So the echoes from another world emerging from the sea, you know, could be the echoes of the people that they lost, that sort of thing. Who knows? On bended knees they prayed from the silhouettes of darker days. As the sun goes down, this sacrament begins. Forbidden passive darkness, a wanderer's demise. Eclipse shadows from the moon, pulls powers from the sky. Glimpses of redemption, not all hope is lost. The riddles of the prophecies now break like winter's frost. Now, so riddles of the prophecies there, and the album is called Riddles of the Sycophants, or Sycophants, I believe. So, yeah, interesting. So again, it seems to be pulling powers from the sky, you know, like maybe granted the powers of their gods. You know, glimpses of redemption, not all hope is lost. You know, so these Atlanteans who have, you know, they lost their home, you know, they've lost their home world, their country, whatever you want to call it, you know, and they've ended up having to suffer through, you know, walking across this frozen tundra, what have you, know. So, you know, their future's looking pretty bleak. Maybe they have been captured by this other people who've enslaved them, I don't know. You know, it says not all hope is lost, so there is still a glimmer of hope for them. And the riddles of the prophecies now break like winter's frost. So, like, maybe these prophecies have become more clear. They're not riddles anymore, you know, they're starting to make sense. So all the confusion over these prophecies is starting, you know, it says the riddles of the prophecies now break like winter's frost. So the confusion over these prophecies is now breaking. They're becoming more clear, possibly. Don't know. Pray for the righteous, pray for the gods, pray for their souls to be released. As echoes from another world emerge from the sea, their hope holds true, with faith imbued, a reason to believe. On bended knees they pray from the silhouettes of darker days. As the sun goes down, the sacrament begins. This is the ritual, this is the time when the whisper of eternity passed through space and time. They raise from the depths, once lurking in the deep, and now the storms run calm. The clans of Atlantis are finally released, no longer bound to harm. And now is the time for those to stand and fight, and now is the chance to redeem. No more on bended knee, the people enslaved now finally free. So there we go. They raise from the depths, once lurking in the deep, and now the storms run calm. The clans of Atlantis are finally released. So, like I was saying before, it's talking about necromantic rituals, and pray for the righteous, pray for the souls to be released, and echoes from another world emerging from the sea, And it says here, they raised from the deep, the clans of Atlantis, all the people they lost when Atlantis fell. Are emerging from the seas, so you got zombie Atlanteans by the sound of things, and they're no longer bound to harm, so they're not suffering, under the waves. They're not condemned to an eternity at the bottom of the sea. It says, now is the time to stand and fight. Now is the chance to redeem. No more on bended knee. The people enslaved now finally free. So with the reinforcement of these people that were lost when Atlantis fell, they've now come back, and they're now at the back of these people that have been seemingly been captured by another clan in this frozen tundra, because it does seem like the Atlanteans here have been enslaved by someone. Now that they've got all the undead Atlanteans behind them, they can now finally fight for their freedom. And then it goes, they prayed to the righteous, they prayed to the gods, they prayed for their souls to be released. The voices are free for their mortal sins, the people enslaved are finally free. Now that bit was actually different from what was actually said at the end of the song that we heard, but only ever so slightly. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how it went, but it's very similar to a previous verse that we listened to. So, like I said, it sounds like this has happened after Lands of Snow. It sounds like, the Atlanteans that were crossing the frozen tundra were caught and enslaved by another tribe or army of people and enslaved. And, the people of Atlantis are sort of banded together, and sort of found rituals or whatever to raise the people they lost when Atlantis fell to come to support them, fight at their back so that they can fight for their freedom, no longer be enslaved by these people. That's what it sounds like. But I guess I'll never know until I actually hear the full album, which I'm very much looking forward to. I know I've said that a couple of times, but I really cannot wait to hear this album. So yeah, like I said, as I expected, another excellent piece of music from an excellent band. And yeah, I mean, the music is always great. Like I said, there's little grooves in there that sort of burrow into your brain, and you're like, yeah, I like that. And the vocal performances, they're just brilliant. They always have been. And every single track I've heard by this band has been outstanding. So yeah, I don't know what else I can say. I can just keep gushing over how great I think the band are, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I'll put a link down below to where you can pre-order the Riddles of the Sycophants, or Sycophants, however you want to pronounce it. I think I did that on the previous two videos as well. I can't remember when it's released. I'm sure it was mentioned somewhere. But yeah, don't know what else I can say on that, so I'll leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe, because it really, really would help the channel out. As it stands at the moment, only about 9.5% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed. And as a result of that, people aren't liking, people aren't subscribing, and my videos are getting lost. I'm sort of uploading them and they're sort of disappearing into the ether and not getting suggested to people because people aren't liking and subscribing. And I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos. I hope that sometimes I introduce people to new music. Maybe I help people discover a new band, or maybe I help a upcoming band to find a wider audience. Either way, it's something I enjoy doing it. And I don't get paid for doing any of this. you know, I don't get given stuff for doing this. You know, bands just go, would you look at this piece of music? I go, sure. And people might watch it if the videos don't disappear. You know, so, you know, a like and a subscribe really, really would help. It doesn't cost you anything. It takes a fraction of a second. And, you know, it really would help the channel out. But yeah, I've got nothing else to say there. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you all very, very much for watching. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Pray for the righteous, pray for the gods, pray